Have you ever imagined what it's like to survive a battlefield where temperatures drop below -40, the wind slices through your skin, and everything around is buried under layers of snow? We're not talking about some sci-fi movie. This was real, and to face those conditions, Russia built machines so extreme, so brutal. They look like something out of a post-apocalyptic nightmare, but they're real, heavy, loud, and built for war. How do you create a vehicle that can move, fight, and survive in the icy hell of Siberia or the Arctic? How did Soviet engineers design these monsters to crush snow, cut through frozen forests, and keep moving when everything else stops? Ready to discover the wildest snow machines ever built for combat? Stick around, because number 1 on this list is going to blow your mind. Number 10. Berkut 2 TTM 1901-240. Built in the early 2000s by Russian manufacturer TTM, the Berkut 2 was designed for military patrol and rescue missions in the far northern regions of Russia, where temperatures drop to life-threatening lows. It's powered by a 4-cylinder engine with around 1900 cc, delivering roughly 120 horsepower, enough to carry up to 12 people across deep snow, with a heated, fully enclosed cabin. Looks like a cross between an armored minibus and a snow tank, rolling on wide tracks and with a serious, rugged profile. And when those tracks start grinding through the snow, the sound is deep, rhythmic, almost hypnotic, still in use today for Arctic operations and emergency response missions. This machine thrives in deep snow, icy forests, and frozen hills. Modern, yet already legendary, it's the kind of machine you'd want in a survival situation. Think that's tough? The next one is even more intense. Number 9. Chabars M3 Arctic Combat Buggy. Developed through a collaboration between Russian military engineers and special operations experts, the Chabars M3 is a lightweight combat buggy specifically designed for snow and frozen terrain. It's equipped with a 1500 cc engine, putting out about 120 horsepower, just enough to carry 3 armed soldiers and tow light equipment through snow-covered trails at high speed. It's a white blur on the battlefield, with a growling engine and the crunch of chain tires tearing through ice. Its aggressive profile and winter camo make it look like something from a futuristic war game, used by special forces for reconnaissance and quick response missions in mountainous and frozen zones. It's fast, maneuverable, and built to escape ambushes, a newer machine, but already a standout in the next generation of Arctic warfare vehicles. And, if you think that's wild, wait till you see what Soviet engineers were building back in the 80s. Number 8. GMV-2, 1985. Back in the Cold War days of the 1980s, the GMV-2 was developed as a military-grade snow tractor, capable of hauling troops and gear through isolated, frozen landscapes where normal trucks would fail instantly. It had a 6-cylinder diesel engine, producing around 250 horsepower. Enough strength to drag 6 tons of cargo through thick snow or solid ice without breaking a sweat. With its massive tracks and chunky armored body, it looked like a mechanical centipede crawling across the white tundra. The engine's roar echoed across the frozen silence, used mainly in Siberia and Arctic operations. It ensured that supply chains kept running even during snowstorms and temperatures that froze everything else solid. Though long retired, the GMV-2 still lives on in military museums and in the memories of those who relied on its brute strength. Liking this ride through frozen history? Drop a like to support the channel. We've got way more insanity ahead. Number 7. A1 Double Snowmobile. This one's a hidden gem, developed during the Cold War. The A1 Double Snowmobile was a Soviet experiment to motorize sleds, connected together to create a fast and nimble machine for recon missions deep in snowbound terrain. Each sled had its own 2-cylinder engine with about 600 cc, and together they produced around 40 horsepower. Not a massive number, but for a vehicle this light and agile, it was more than enough to fly across SNOWBANKS. That sounded like 2 roaring motorcycles ripping across a frozen landscape. Visually, it looked like 2 jet skis fused together, rugged, fast, and ready for action. It was mainly used for messenger duties, scouting missions, and light supply runs, where speed and mobility meant survival. While experimental, it showed how simplicity and daring design could create a truly effective Arctic scout vehicle. Cool stuff, right? The next machine is built for serious heavy-duty war logistics. Number 6. T-20 Komsomolets. Now we're diving into serious history. The T-20 Komsomolets was launched in 1937, just before World War II, and was one of the first Soviet attempts at creating a snow-capable artillery tractor with a 4-cylinder engine packing around 3,500 cc and about 50 horsepower. It could tow artillery guns and carry a small group of troops across muddy or snow-covered terrain. Its boxy, armored design sat on a set of steel tracks, making it look like a mini-tank. The engine let out a deep, grinding sound as the tracks bit into the frozen ground, used extensively on the Eastern Front. It became a workhorse during brutal winter battles, where conditions would freeze men and machines alike. Today, the T-20 is preserved in military museums as a symbol of early snow warfare engineering. But if that's old-school grit, the next one is a snow beast built on top of a Russian legend. Number 5. Soviet DE-226, based on URAL 4320. Imagine taking the iconic URAL 4320 military truck and turning it into a full-blown snow monster. That's what the Soviets did with the DE-226, converting the tough-as-nails URAL into a tracked, armored snow transport with a V8 engine and over 10,000 cc. It pushed out roughly 350 horsepower. That's raw power, enough to haul troops, gear, or even smaller vehicles through deep snow and ice. It looked like a mobile fortress, wide tracks, reinforced armor, small bulletproof windows, and a brutal winter camo paint job. The roar of the engine, combined with the grinding metal tracks, made it sound like an avalanche on the move. Used for logistics and transport in remote Arctic zones, it was built to survive the most unforgiving terrain on Earth. Not widely known, but an absolute powerhouse that still inspires modern snow vehicle designs. If you're as into Arctic engineering as we are, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got even crazier stuff coming next. Number 4. TM-140. The TM-140 is one of the most respected snow machines ever developed in Russia. Originally created during the Soviet era, it looks like something straight out of a lunar base, but it was built for heavy-duty use here. On Earth, it has a V8 engine delivering about 300 horsepower, mounted on a wide, rugged body that glides over snow on 2 massive rubber tracks. Its deep, throaty engine hums with steady power, while the huge tracks leave behind a wide, flat trail across any terrain. Inside, the pressurized cabin keeps the crew warm, even in -40 degrees Celsius. Used for military support and scientific operations in the Arctic and Siberia. It's capable of carrying tools, equipment, and even satellite communication systems over hundreds of frozen kilometers. Modern versions of the TM-140 are still in operation today, a true testament to timeless engineering. If you think that's impressive, just wait until you see number 1. Number 3. Screw-driven, Soviet vehicle. Now we're getting into the truly bizarre. During the Cold War, Soviet engineers experimented with a wild idea, a vehicle powered not by wheels or tracks, but by 2 giant screws. The result was one of the weirdest machines ever built. These rotating screw cylinders pushed the vehicle forward through snow, swamp, or frozen mud. With a 4-cylinder engine and around 200 cc, it had just enough power to wriggle through impossible terrain. Sounded like a metal beast grinding its way across the tundra, and visually, like a giant metal worm moving through the snow. Used in small-scale tests and remote scouting missions. It never became mainstream, but the concept still inspires vehicle experiments today. Think that's bizarre? Get ready, the next machine is like a tank crossed with a spaceship. Number 2, Kharkovchanka. The Kharkovchanka, or Lady of Kharkov, is one of the most legendary cold environment machines ever built. First developed in 1959, it was designed for Antarctica, but later saw military service in Russia's Arctic territories. It has a V12 engine with over 13,000 cc and roughly 400 horsepower. But more impressive than the numbers is the scale. Over 20 tons of steel, tracks, and survival equipment. The engine rumbles like thunder, while the insulated cabin houses beds, a kitchen, and heating systems ready for multi-week missions. In absolute isolation, used by Soviet troops and scientists, it traveled across frozen oceans, glacier fields, and whiteout blizzards with zero support. A few Kharkovchankas are still in service today. A true snow titan that has earned its place in history. But none of that compares to the king of Arctic machines. Asterisk, and if you made it this far, you already know, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because we're just getting started with the most extreme machines on Earth. Now for number 1. Number 1. Vityaz DT-30. This is it, the Arctic King, the Vityaz DT series, born in the Soviet Union and still produced in modern Russia, is the ultimate cold terrain machine. The DT-30, the most powerful version, is powered by a massive V12 engine with over 15,000 cc and more than 500 horsepower. It's built from 2 units connected by a central hinge, like 2 tanks fused into one. Visually, it's overwhelming. Nearly 20 meters long, with ultra-wide dual tracks, a reinforced cabin, and winter camo that blends into the snow. Like a ghost, it's used for missile transport, military logistics, rescue missions, and even building remote Arctic bases. It can cross frozen rivers, snowy forests, and glacial terrain without breaking a sweat. The Vityaz is more than a machine. It's a legend. If anything owns the snow, it's this beast. Today, we explored a world of true frozen giants. Machines built not just to move, but to survive, to fight, and to endure where humans can barely breathe. From experimental sleds to 30-ton Arctic beasts, we saw how Russia turned ice and snow into a proving ground for extreme engineering. These aren't just vehicles, they're legends, and they made it possible to live, work, and even fight where no one else would dare. Now tell us in the comments, which of these machines would you dare to drive? And which one gave you chills just hearing about it? If you love this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because every week we bring you new videos about the most powerful machines built to conquer snow, ice, and the extremes. See you in the next video.